Welcome everybody and welcome to part 11. Now, very quick overview and then we need to, well, I need to get on because I'm sort of like lagging behind at the moment. Now, a quick overview is last time we got the Celotex board down, we got it all coated up with plaster and we actually got the clay on. We actually got the recess done for the barn to sit in because we're going to be filling this with hardcore and bricks. Now, I gave it a coat of paint and also I've been doing a little bit of fettling. As you can see, I've just been sanding the edges down and playing about while I've been waiting for the turntable to turn up, and that's the reason why we finished the last video, because I was waiting on the turntable. Unfortunately, we got one lost in the post, but they did send me another one out, which I've got. So we've had a quick look at what was done. Now let's get on and we'll have a quick look at the turntable and we'll get on and get it fitted. Turntable. Now we'll run quickly through the size and its operation. It is 25 centimeters or 250 millimeters, or just under the 10 inches across. The height of it, I wanted this one because it's quite low, and this is only 40 centimeters or 4 centimeters, 40 millimeters, or 1.5 inches high. That's the dimensions of it. Operations of it, there is only 2 buttons, as you can see on the front. One actually switches the turntable on, which is, it should be 40 seconds for 1 revolution, which is about reasonable. And the other switch, which won't be used, is for LED. So well, yeah, but it won't be used on this particular diorama, so we'll switch them off. It's 240 mains only. It was my fault because I didn't read the description properly, because I really did want one with batteries. When I saw the pictures, I saw this bit and I assumed that it took batteries as well as mains, but unfortunately it doesn't. It was my fault because I didn't read everything. The reason I wanted a battery one was that I could have actually taken this and used this at a show, because you wouldn't be able to plug a mains, well, you wouldn't be able to get mains power not at any show anyway. So like I say, I've ordered one, I found one, I've ordered one, that's on its way, that I'm strictly going to use for shows. Now I'm still going to keep this one and I'm still going to use it because I'm going to be using these in my actual display cabinet. So the one I've ordered is exactly the same size as this, it's the same style except for its battery. So what I've got to do now is I've got to make them interchangeable, because I'll be using these in my display cabinet connected to the mains. So when I go to a show, I want to be able to take this away and insert the battery one for a show. So I'm not actually going to fix this directly to the actual base, and to be honest with you, it would be rather difficult to do that because we'd have to sort of take all this lot off and fix through that way, or clamps along the side, which I don't like the idea of. So I've come up with a little solution on that. So what I should do now, I'll put you on pause and I'll run through my solution of making these turntables interchangeable with this base. Now, first things first, I need to mark up the center of this particular base. Now fortunately, when I actually cut the base, I actually drilled a hole right the way through the center of the base, so I could actually scribe up, and we can use this now to centralize our table, and it's going to be very simply done. Now drops the pencil on the floor and I've probably broken the lead. I put a screw in the middle. I must retrieve my pencil. I've already got my piece of wire that I've been using on other bits. I've marked out 125 because the actual base is, well, the turntable is 250, and all we're going to do to get ourselves a rough centre when it goes round, we'll keep that on that spot. Is we're simply going to hold the pencil there, and we're going to hopefully take it round in a circle. So that is where our turntable is going to sit. Take that away. Just bring the turntable in and see how close we are. Well, that to me is as close as it's going to be. So I'm quite happy with that. Now, the next thing I want to do is to make sure I sort of know each time in which direction I need to actually insert the turntable. So what I'm going to do is find, that's the front, I'm going to find the back, which is there, and I'm going to put a couple of marks on the bottom here just to indicate this is the back of the diorama, and this is where I'm going to be inserting the actual turntable in for when we swap it over. Now, next bit, what we need to do is make something on the half circle to actually help centralise it when we actually push the turntable in. So what I've got is a piece of 18mm MDF, and I've gone for 18mm for the simple reason is it is half the size of the turntable, like so, if you can see. So I know that if I cut this in a horseshoe shape, which I've already got marked out, as you can see, that is the actual shape of the turntable. But instead of going round it, I've left it open, so it leaves that gap that you can actually push the turntable into, and then it will virtually lock into place. So I've got that all marked up, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my jigsaw and I'm going to cut this piece out, and then I shall bring it back after I've sanded it and made it look a bit cleaner and tidier, and we'll then get it fixed on to the actual base, and then I can demonstrate how this is all going to work. Now I've got my bits cut out. We've cut the horseshoe piece out, which is going to sit on there like that. I've also cut 4 little feet. This is just to make it stable when it's not actually sat on a turntable. So that is going to be the layout. I've countersunk these. All I'm going to do now is glue this all down, a few screws, and that will be done, because by the time it's had a coat of paint underneath here, you're not going to see anything, so I'm not too fussy about it. But the principle, the way it's going to work, is that we can actually slide that up underneath. It's going to position itself in the centre, so the whole table's not going to rock around. So with that, I'm now going to get this glued down and screwed down as well, and I shall be back with you in a few seconds. Now I've glued and screwed the blocks on and the little half circle on it. It's all nice and dry, and hopefully that is how it's going to be centered. So all we need to do now is, when I move from a mains one to a battery, we just slide it in underneath and it's going to locate itself in the center. Now I'm quite happy with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this a coat of black paint before I turn it over, and then we'll have a little look at the speed and how it all works. Now quickly, before I turn it over, I've given it all a coat of black paint. I'm quite happy with that because you're not going to see any of this at all. So nice coat of paint. So now what I'm going to do is turn it over and we'll have a look at the speed of the actual turn of this. Turned it over and it does fit on very nice and easily, as you can see, because we know the direction of where it's going to sit, and it's a matter of just sliding it back, making sure it's in place, and it's done. Quite happy with that, quite happy, because it will be something that I can do on my own without having other people to assist me. Now that's done, we'll have a quick look at the speed. I have actually timed it. Put an item on there. There we go. I have actually timed it. It's 40 seconds dead to be exact, which I'm more than happy with. It's a good slow rotation, not too fast and not too slow actually, and I feel that's going to be just right for viewing this diorama all the way around. So that's completed, that's done, so now we can move on. So what I'm going to do is we'll get the barn put on, and we're going to get some hardcore put in this area here. So first things first, we'll get the barn glued down, and then we'll move on to getting some hardcore and starting to get this diorama wrapped up. Now I've got the barn in position, and there's a couple of things I want to do before I actually glue this down. To start off with, this bar along the front here, it was only left in more as a stabiliser until we actually fixed it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this out, and then what I'm going to do is just glue the barn down just with PVA, because that will stick down really well. So I'm going to get on with that. I'm just going to cut this out using my side cutters, and then I'm going to glue the barn down, and then we can start putting the hardcore in to make the road up. Now I've removed the bar, and I've actually got it glued down, and it's all in place now. And now we can start moving on to actually getting some hardcore. Now the hardcore is what I've got in this tub here. If I bring it nice and close to the camera, it's the German frog bricks, the 1/35 scale, and what I've done, I've put them into I think they call it a pestle and mortar, and crushed them down a little bit, just to sort of, so I've got small, big bits, and even some fine dust. Now I'm going to use this as my base, and I'm going to be very, very simply doing it. If I can show you, I'm going to be just putting some PVA down first. Should have got myself a bigger brush, but there you go. But PVA down first, like so. Plenty of it to start off with, and I'm literally going to be putting this on top and moving it around and getting it sort of reasonably flat as I go. I'm not too fussed, because we will be using topsoil and brushing that in when it's all dry, and then pigment fixing it all down, just to get that hardcore, but you can see the bricks and that coming through the dirt and the muck. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put you on pause, because it's very difficult to be doing this and showing you at the same time. So I'm going to get this all coated up with PVA. I'm going to get all my bricks on. When I get so far, I'll come back so you can have a look. Now I've got part of the way. Let's see if we can get the camera in just a little bit better, so you can see. Now they're going down quite well. I'm just literally laying them on and using this the pestle and mortar, and just tapping it flat all the way through, and it's working quite well. Now I've got a long way to go, so I'm going to carry on, and I shall probably come back to you when I've got all the inside done, because it shouldn't take too long. I've got all the hardcore flattened out and lead all inside there, as you can see. And if we move you around this way, now what I've been doing, I've just been doing a little experiment with some washes, and the next stage, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be covering all of the bricks with a brown wash, I want to bring all that orange down a little bit and only have a little tiny bit showing through the soil. So I'll be using the Vallejo dipping wash, which there we go. It's the Vallejo dipping wash. This is the brown one. I should be giving that a coat all over it. It was a little bit too heavy here, but I'll thin it down a little bit, and so just so it knocks that orange back a little bit. So I'm going to continue on with that, and then when I've given the whole lot a coat, I'll come back and we'll take another look. Now I've given all the hardcore a coat of the Vallejo dipping wash, which has brought all the colours down. It's made it more sort of tolerable. Well, to me it has anyway. Still quite a bit of work to be done in there. We're going to be putting some soil on and brushing that in, pigment fixing it. We may even put a few slabs here and there, but we'll see. But that will be on the videos that I do all the weathering and all the finishing off, because this video now has come to an end, because we've actually come to the end of the actual build. And if we pull the camera back so you can see, and excuse me while I just put it on autofocus. There we go. Now, so we've come to the end of this the actual build. We're not finished by a long shot, but I'm gonna cut the video here. The simple reason is, like I say, we've done all the build work. It's fixed to the base, and now it's all down to the weathering and all the finer detail. Now I will be doing a short video I'll be putting out, because I've bought quite a few kits. I've bought quite a lot of bits and pieces to actually go in this, a lot of figures. So I will do a short video. It won't be inbox reviews, because all I'm going to do is just run through what I've got, and a couple of the kits probably will have a inbox review because they are diorama accessories. There's a mini art house accessory set, which I probably will do a little inbox review of that, so you can actually see what you get. That will actually be used on here because there's guttering and windows and doors and other bits and pieces, but we will get to that eventually. So all in all, now I'm quite happy, and there's just one last thing to do. We'll switch it on and we'll let it rotate, and I'm really pleased with that. I'm pleased with the way it's all worked out. Damage wise, I did create a little bit of damage when we get round to the back. I did break a few of the tiles, but I do have the tiles so they can be glued back in. All this has still got to be weathered. We've still got grass paths, still loads more to do, but they will come in on the next video. So after it's done one complete turn, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.